Is it happening? Are we live? Hello, family. Hello, friends. Welcome to a new era, really, because we're actually out here going live. Today, I have brought a topic that not only is really dominating the thought space of this channel currently and also in the next months, but also is something that, of course, is very close to my heart, would even be an understatement. We will be talking about genius. And when you hear genius, I want to be clear that I'm not talking about, the very few exceptional people that nobody else is like, and they are so special. I'm talking about genius in another way. I speak about genius as something that is embedded in you since start. I'm talking about something that is innate in you, something that you were born with, that you were tasked with bringing into the world. And over the weekend, I was reading Michael Meades' book. If you don't know Michael Mead, he is incredible. His work is so good. I think I came across his work maybe 6 months ago. And, his work has stuck with me ever since. And I've gotten his book, but I never really got to read it. And I finally did. And what we will talk about today is heavily based on his work. The book is called The Genius Myth. And he is a storyteller, a myth teller. I don't know. He works with stories. He works with myths. His way of speaking, his ways of sharing wisdom through these stories is so heart touching, so heartfelt. And when I was reading the book, I'm not gonna lie to you, I cried. I cried multiple times, like actual real tears, because he is someone who has worked with at risk youth, meaning people who are literally facing death like day to day and violence day to day, like be it because of the area they grew up in or and lived in, or whether it was because they were genuinely themselves at risk, and not wanting to make it. So this is where his work started, what it's grounded in. It's grounded in the deepest fabric of life there is, right? Like in the most where we can only be humble, become humble. You know what I mean? And if you and he's just such an advocate for young people, and there's just so much love and compassion radiating out of his work and his words. And yeah, so I've been reading this book, and it really gave the thoughts that I've been having over the past months, um towards what is it that I actually want to put out, right? Because there's a vast array of things that I could be talking about. There's so many things that I have an interest in. There's so many things that I find, so interesting, so important. But what is it that is actually going to be something that will be as relevant in 20 years as well as, could have helped someone 20 years ago? Like, what is something that is timeless? And it all comes back to, for me, how I formulated it as the reason to why we came. Why did we come here? What did we come to do? Some people talk about purpose, and like in many ways, all these words, people making like purpose workshops and stuff. No shade, but like it gets watered down so quickly. where people don't even know what they're talking about. People just start monetizing stuff. They don't even know what they're talking about. But the question remains, why did we come here? What did we come here to do? And I think the thing for me has always been I always knew, but then I also completely forgot in the next moment again. And I think this is something that many of us experience. And so, yeah, we're talking about genius today. And as I said, I will base today's video heavily on Michael Meades' The Genius Myth. If you're interested in his work, I will be putting that in the description box. So, what are we getting into? Okay, so genius. I already said that the way I look at genius as, the way we are presenting genius as today, is not one person, like very few people are so special and beyond everybody. Genius, as in Michael Meades' work, is actually that which is innate to a person. It is something that is there from the start. It is something you were born with. It is something that is indigenous to the person, as he says. It's not your family, it's not society around you. It is something that you were born with. The other thing about genius, you can't develop it. You cannot grow genius. Genius is complete from the second you're born, right? So, genius is really the thing that you came with. It's an organized pattern of talents, of interests, of ways of looking at the world, of ways of being. It's a pattern that connects all of these things that are exceptional to you. That's the genius that resides in everybody. Everybody has a unique something that they came with. And especially in times like these where we go online, everything is the same, right? It becomes hard to even imagine. But the thing that touches my heart so much, that came through his work, and this was even in the videos that I saw before I got into the book, when he was talking about how he was speaking with, like, talking to, helping with at risk youth. In those moments where these kids, these young people, were literally thinking of, dipping, he was like, whenever he brought up this very notion of there is something inside of you that you were born with that is trying to come out, whenever he presented them with that, that seemed to be the only thing that snapped them back in. So that's the thing that has been sitting with me ever since, of like, and you don't have to go to such extremes. You don't have to have such extreme situations to be faced with people who in many ways have checked out, right? Or even if temporarily, but you can see if someone is in their fog. And the thing that I always find so touching is that whenever I in my work touch on that, and I just go, well, what do you need to do? What do you want to do? The thing that strikes me is that people always know. People always know. And then you could say, I'm in a bubble, like I'm surrounded by many creatives. I'm surrounded in general, like that my circle is consists of people who, generally speaking, do what they want to do, right? So of course there's like a certain bias in there, but it's I still find it stunning every time. I bring this up, and if someone feels alienated from their path, or they're feeling like they're stuck in something and they keep repeating the same things, or like they just don't like their job anymore and they just keep staying in there, I just find it so mind-boggling. I'm so in awe of how accessible the thing really remains whenever I talk about it. And like, what do you want to do? But what is it? What wants to be, what wants to come out? What needs to happen? People always have an answer. So anyway, this is why we're diving into this more, but coming back to genius. So genius, as he describes it, genius is something that is exceptional in you. Genius is something that is indigenous to the person, meaning, again, it's not from family, it's not from society, it is something they were born with. And then it gets interesting because he talks about, if you now we have the nature of what genius actually is. It's not something that is only allocated to the few. Every single person has a genius. Like has a pattern of interests and gifts and talents that they were equipped with that were meant to come into the world. And there's a saying that goes, when nature needs work done, she invents genius to do it. Okay, so this very idea that, okay, we're born with something, it's only us that has it, this particular pattern, and we're born with it because it's needed. We're born with it as the host of this thing that has to come out. So that leads us to the next point. Now that we understand the nature of genius, not as something reserved for the few, but as something residing in everyone, how genius is a gift to be given. We are meant to give our talents. We are meant to give our gifts. I was saying the other day, it's only a gift if you give it, right? And now that I'm talking about it, now after the weekend, after reading it, after having like digested it, now it's like, oh yeah, duh. Right? But I remember just a couple days ago, I was like, hearing it articulated like that was so eye-opening. Of like, of course. Like we're given something because it was meant to come into the world. And this is also why this is another thing that touched me. He was like, when a person is called, and the calling is your gift asking to be delivered, your gift asking to be given, your gift asking to come out and do whatever it needs to do. He said, if a person is called and refuses the call, not only does that have a weight on that person's soul and how vital they feel, but when they refuse the call, the world loses something too. The world loses something too when we don't answer our calling. Because again, when nature needs a job done, she invents genius to do it. Right? So when we go back to, genius is nothing that you have to build or develop or you need to, grow. It comes complete, it comes perfect. Then we also have to look at how we work with it and with ourselves in a different way, right? Because now, actually, from that perspective, the work is actually to grow the host. To grow the host, it's develop the host. He speaks about character development a lot. The bigger your gift, the bigger the thing that you were given, the more your character must be developed in order to hold the gift well and in order to bring it out well. The work now becomes developing the host of the gift. So, right. What calls for the giving of our inherent gifts, right? So we are now at this point where we're getting like, okay, so we're all equipped with something that makes us very unique. We're all we all have this thing that the world needs from us. And we now also know that the whole point of being given a gift is to give it. And therefore, it is so worth it to shift our attention to what that kind of work looks like and what that means for us, right? Because like he also talks about how not only like when I said when a person is called and refuses the call, the world loses something too. Not only, not only the world loses something too, but there's a price. There's a heavy price that we pay when we refuse to answer our call because it's the whole point of us coming here is literally, to bring this into the world and to give it. And when we don't do it, you know, what we often experience is a feeling of stuckness, is a feeling is a spirit of depression, like laying waiting on us. Um it's just a heavy price on our soul if we don't get into this work, and this is just something that has been so normalized, which I feel like is changing now. Like we are in the middle of all the crazy and the chaos, we are in such times of uprising and new path finding and hope, really, right? But it all depends on us waking up to messages like these, that things are both, chaotic and crazy, but there's also a sense of hope at the same time if we can locate power and control back to us. If we don't look at everything and slip into a sense of hopelessness, because the world is crazy. The question will always be how can we change our perception back to looking at what we do have power over. And so these conversations must take place, right? So anyway, where was I? If it goes unused, its host can become depressed or stuck in life. That is the weight of a talent not freely given. And if we reject it, it has a price and there's a weight on our soul. Right. Oh yeah, I was saying it's so normalized. Yeah, it's so normalized, but also I feel like things are changing and this is why we're having the conversations we're having now. This is what I was trying to say. So, right. We have a talent. Talent looked at as this pattern of talents. Gift looked at as this pattern of gifts, interests, you know, things we feel drawn to. Us knowing that we actually came here to bring that into the world. And next, what he spoke about is there's also a way in which, ooh, this is getting interesting. There's also a way in which we are meant to give our gifts into the world, and that is freely from a place of generosity. This is how we're meant to handle our gifts. Because, and understandably, all too often the psychology of the marketplace enters the chat, right? And now we talk about, oh, being paid to be ourselves and monetize and monetize and monetize, which the truth is it's not far away from the truth because this is where it's going. But if we prematurely, due to old conditioning and just not being clear about the order of things, the value of things, if we're not clear on that, we can end up approaching this wrong. And when this psychology of the marketplace creeps in, I loved how he said it. He said something like, it's very easy to sell yourself short. It's very easy to sell yourself and the gifts you were given short. It's very easy to, you know, end up feeling lost or worthless because you gave your inner gold away, is how he put it. This can happen easily. And I think this is another thing that, we are invited to be mindful of as we embark on this journey of uncovering our genius and honoring it as in the way of bringing it into the world and making a living of it. Not everybody will. Not everybody has to. It's not tied to that. You don't have to do that. There's other ways in which to live and bring your calling into the world, but for some, it will be, on a larger stage. Um, it's important to have that awareness also, right? And not because we reject the material world. No. The more spiritual you get, the more you understand the interconnectedness of everything. The more you understand as within, so without, as above, so below, you'll know that we can't speak about true abundance without while excluding abundance on, let's say, now the material plane. No, it's no such thing. Everything belongs together, right? So again, like the point is not you cannot charge for your gift. To be very clear, this is not what this is saying. But I again, like I love how he said it. It's easy to sell yourself short. It's easy to sell your gift short. And we do that when we don't fully understand it. We don't fully understand why we are given it in the first place. Right? It's a highly spiritual thing. It's a highly sacred thing, to be gifted with something and to be appointed to bringing it, like delivering it to the world. So I guess what this is ultimately about is it's about the energy you're in when you give your gift. The energy you're in when you give your gift. The energy you're in when you give your gift. This is what this is about. And it comes from understanding how it's not arbitrary. It's not by chance. Everything has been carefully designed and selected and chosen. You chose it yourself. Really, like from the most, the highest spiritual perspective. You chose this yourself. Really. But that's for another day. Everything is carefully chosen, designed, and put together. There's no such thing as this just happened by chance, so I'm just no. And then when we know this, we can feel it and see it and honor it in a better way, right? So there's actually a quote he said that I like. He said, "A person remains less than themselves until they learn how to give freely what was given to them." Learn how to give freely what was given to them. Ding, 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 ding. So many points. Learn how to give freely what was given to them. Learn the implication, the reason why, we're literally starting out with this live series now. We can learn it. We can learn it. We can learn it. It starts out with having this awareness and this knowledge in the first place, but it goes so much deeper because now the question is, what does that mean? How do we work with it? I touched on it talking about the host, the idea of now you have to grow the host and the paradigm shift that comes with that, right? But we can learn it. Learn how to give freely what was given to them. What was given to them, your gift, and give freely. Because this giving freely, woo, do you understand the spiritual Batmanness we're entering? Because when we're talking about learning how to give something freely, oh, do you not see all the fears that are coming up? Do you not see all the programming that is like rattling against the monkey cage? Can you not feel it? Can you not feel the uprising of all the opposing forces? Like, no, it cannot be. It is gonna mean doom. It's too dangerous. We can't afford it. We can't survive. Peak survival mentality appearing, coming up, fighting. Can you not feel it? This is why this work is happening, guys. This is why this is so important to engage in this work. Because when we talk about to give freely, does that mean we're backing down and now we're soft and we're doormat and we're just accepting to get nothing in life? No. We're showing up at the highest possible level of what is possible for us, this soul, this incarnation that we're in, right? Because we know the greatness that we come from, not from a ego perspective, blah. If you tap into the highest frequency of all, however you want to call it, we know we come from that. We know this is what gave us that. So what do you mean I'm gonna be scared because you're telling me I can't give that for free? Not for free, I'm sorry. I can't give that freely from a space of love and generosity and no fear? You're gonna think I'm not gonna make it into that? You're gonna think that I'm not gonna be able to step into that and play that thing? There's no way. There's no way. Not over here, not on this channel, not in my tribe, not around my people. Oh, yeah. I wonder if man, I hope the sound is working okay because this is looking weird. Hello, hello. Anyway, we are at 27, 28 minutes. Okay. Couple of things more to say, and then I think we're good for today. What was I gonna say? A person remains less than themselves until they learn how to give freely what was given to them. And the last thing, ooh, I love this one. Your genius has its own life. One time for the genius, every single genius out there that's residing in you, in the people, in us. Your genius has its own life. Woo! Your genius has its own life. You know what I was saying earlier about whenever I speak to people, whenever I work with people, I find it so uh surprise it's not even surprising, but it's still like it still gets me every time how every time I point towards it, how there's always something coming back from people. I ask them something, they look like they're absorbed in their day to day and the job that they don't like or whatever. But as soon as I push it, as soon as I ask, there's something coming back every time. And that is because genius has its own life. Genius has its own life, baby. Your genius has its own life. Your genius has its own life. And I have a couple of things that I like noted from the book. He said the genius in each person knows what gifts they bring to the world and how their lives should be oriented. Your genius knows what to do. That's the crazy part. Your genius knows what to do. He also says the genius already knows which disciplines will best serve its needs and inherent goals. Your genius knows the way. Your genius even knows which disciplines will best serve its needs. How crazy is that? Your genius knows which disciplines to pick. Your genius knows which disciplines to pick. This is why it's so interesting. When I now work with people, during the time, so I used to work with corporate a lot in the beginning first, and then I moved to consulting artists, independent labels, people who were working in the creative fields. What was I trying to say with this? Right. And whenever I ask these more creatives, these artistic people, they didn't necessarily were able to, from a meta perspective, tell me this is the message that I have. This is the goal that I'm trying to reach with this, and therefore I chose this type of song, this type of, this medium, or like this creative practice, or this, I don't know, maybe they were working on some performance art or a movie or like a collage or whatever. They weren't necessarily able to articulate it, but if you looked at the work, as me, as someone who is like really devoted to this question, you would always see it. It would always be so clear. It would always be so clear what this person came to do, what this thing is, that what their soul stands for, what they're trying to emit. It is so clear. And from then on, from being in this work, I stopped looking at, if you know me, like I'm very deep into music, right? But for me, a long time ago, music stopped being music. It's still music. It's still fun, you know what I mean? But music is just another form for a soul to make something known. Ooh, ooh, that was a bar right there. There was a bar right there. It's just another medium, just another, example of a soul trying to make something known. So anyway, how did I get there? The genius has its own life. Oh, right, because the genius knows the disciplines that will best serve its purposes. Incredible. So yeah, guys, these are the questions that are inhabiting this space and this YouTube channel. Now for the time to come, this is the foundation um of it, right? We are here exploring meaningful ways in which to become who we were meant to be, to do what we came to do. This is what this channel here is about, because all of us were born with something inherent that was meant to be gifted into the world. If nature needs a job done, she creates genius to do it. It's each and every one of us. I hope you did not just hear my stomach growl, but that means I'm hungry. Um, yeah, this is the work of here. This is what we're tapping into right now. Um, that was also my first live. Ding 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 ding. I love it. I had fun. We'll be coming back. And also, ooh, yeah, actually, as a last point, meta perspective, business development perspective. I want to talk about that a little bit more. Do you know how hard it was to come here, to finally show up here, to finally be here? And I'm saying this intentionally. Um, because I'm usually the type of person that I will prefer to show you the polished end result that is thought through from every single angle, tried and tested and verified, and then actually tried and tested and verified again just to make sure. I'm that type of person. Okay. But as I said before, we live in such unprecedented times of change, of a collectively engineered change, that I find it necessary to show up and share also these behind the scenes aspects with you guys. Because it's cool to have like a great polished end product at the end of the day, But the task now really is not just to have a great polished end product and then you're so great and your work is so amazing, but it is to activate and wake up as many souls as possible along the way to do the same. And it has been, you probably know it, like you have a message on your heart, you have something that you really want to share, you have no idea where to start, you procrastinate like crazy, then you work on stuff that's really not that important, you work on your website for so long, you do some writing, you do this, you do that, kind of always telling yourself that, yeah, that day is coming, the day is coming, the day is coming, but at the end of the day, guys, we don't have that much time. We don't have that much time. We do not have that much time. We don't. We have to make the next step. And it's, I guess it's one of the most unnatural things, to have this desire to step in front of so many people. Like why, right? But these times are calling for it. Each of us has something, that is meant to help the collective with. And if you're someone who, is in that same space, by the end of this, I would hope, not of today, I mean like of the whole process, I would hope that, aside from me being able to deliver my genius and deliver my talents to serve the people assigned to me, that aside from that, I was also able to help others get to that place themselves, right? So I'm just gonna be very real with you. It was, guys, it's not easy. It's not easy. You have this thing, you want to do it, you're just so in your head, then some old wounds start creeping in again, you're like, oh wait, I have to heal again. You know what I mean? So the whole message is, it's hard, and I'm not saying this to discourage, I'm saying this to encourage. It's a hard thing, it's not easy work. So if you do it and you're pushing it and you still haven't given up, kudos to you, you're doing a great job. It is not easy. And to me, you know what I mean? I always like to remind myself when I do hard things that they are hard. Because don't get discouraged just because, it's not working immediately like this, or like this, or like this, or like that, or way earlier. This is the training that we have to engage in also in our minds. You know what I mean? It is hard. So keep going. Keep going. Like just keep going. And again, like saying it's hard is not to discourage. It's to acknowledge. It's to acknowledge, really. Um, it's not an easy task, but it is so worth it. Not just for ourselves and our own well-being, but there's a reason why you have what you have in you, and the world needs it. And it's a job very worth taking on and figuring out, even if we don't know how to do it now. Right? Okay. I think we made it. I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you for listening. If you liked it, like it, comment, share the thing. Let's support the channel. Let's get the message out, get the message going. And if you've made it until here, share with me what is trying to come out. Share with me the thing that you're hosting, that is trying to make its way into the world. Share that with me. I want to know. All right, guys, have a lovely day.